Guys, welcome to the Chef's Backyard. Tonight I'm going to show you how I'm going to use my Chef's Backyard flavor formula to smoke a brisket. We're going to do a couple of things. We'll use a little mustard. That'll help the spice to stick to the brisket. And then we'll use our flavor formula spice. Alright guys, so we've got our brisket and we're going to open it up in this pan. The pan we'll use in the smoker, and that'll help us to catch the drippings from the brisket as it smokes, because it's going to render out a lot of that fat. We'll use some paper towels to start to dry it off a little bit. All right guys, here in South Texas, brisket is the king of our barbecue. It's a big muscle. It comes from the chest of a cow. It's the pectoral muscle. It's got a lot of connective tissue in there, a lot of fat, but if you slow smoke it and render that out, oh, it is delicious. All right guys, your brisket has a couple of parts. It's got the flat and it's got the point. And this part up here, there's a big layer of fat that runs along the middle. You can split it into two pieces if you like, or you can leave it whole. For the most part, we leave ours whole down here. You can trim this fat back as far back as you like. You can do it really lean. I like to leave it on, and I like to go for about a 1/4 inch of fat up on top. So what I'll do is I'll just right here in this spot, and I'll try to find where the meat is, and then we'll just give it a trim. Once you have that trimmed down to where you like it, then we're gonna rub it with some mustard. Cut this hard fat off, it won't render. All right guys, so this is the bottom side of our brisket. I'm gonna rub it with a little bit of mustard. This is gonna help the spices to stick and help you to create that bark. There's also a little bit of vinegar in there, and that'll help to tenderize the meat just a touch. But the smoke is gonna be the real champion of this cook. We're gonna use that Chef's Backyard flavor formula rub. This one was formulated specifically for briskets. It's got some beautiful South Texas spices in there, salt, pepper, a couple of other things that I can't tell you about. Now press that in, and now we're gonna move it into our pan over here, and we're gonna do the same on this top side. Take some mustard, and then some of that Chef's Backyard flavor formula brisket rub. Make sure you get it on all parts. All right guys, let's take it to the smoker. All right guys, so this is my smoker. It's a masterbuilt, and on the side over here, I've got a little smoke box. That smoke box will help me to add chips and let it smoke for 6 hours. And I'm using some mesquite smoking chips. Come in a bag. All right guys, so we're just gonna add the smoked chips in there. And then once we have the smoked chips loaded, we're gonna make sure that we put this little cap back on, close the lid, and then we can turn it on. There's a power switch down at the bottom. All right guys, so we've got some beautiful smoke rolling from there. We have it set to 225, and I just have the timer set for 24 hours. We'll let it smoke overnight, and then we'll check it as we need it. But let me show you how I load it. Close the door, and we'll let it rip. So we have it set for 24 hours. We have our temp set to 225, and then we have the brisket loaded with a pan to catch all of the fat that's gonna render out. Alrighty guys, we'll see you in the morning. Look at that smoke. Woo-wee. Let's take a look and see what's going on with this brisket. As you can see, we got a lot of grease that's rendered out of the brisket. Kind of swole up a little bit. Let's see where we're at temperature wise. There's a thing called the stall, and once your brisket hits about 165, it kind of stays there for a while. And one of the ways that you can kind of keep it moist while it goes through the stall is with some pink butcher paper. And so I've got some set up here, and we'll see where we're at. Like I said, we're already 14 hours in on this brisket, and it's only at 150. Yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and wrap it up. So one of the reasons that the brisket will stall is we get a lot of moisture rendering out of the brisket, and this is fat rendering out, as well as some of the moisture that's in there. So right now we just want to wrap it up with some of our butcher paper, and that'll create kind of a steam pocket in there while it goes through its stall. All right guys, we've got our brisket wrapped up in our pink butcher paper, The butcher paper is kind of porous, so it allows the smoke to go in and out of there, but it also lets some of the moisture come out. I'm gonna crank up this heat to 275, and we'll let it cook for a couple more hours. We're looking for an internal temperature of about 203 degrees. That's when you know that that internal fat has been broken down and rendered out, and you get that nice, super soft, supple brisket fat. All right, guys, so we're gonna check on the brisket. We are several hours in. All right, guys, let's see if we've even hit the stall yet. We're sitting at 162, 163 degrees. All right, we got to keep on cooking. All right, guys, so here it is, the moment we've waited for. So right now we've got a temperature of 204 degrees, holding strong. Let's see what kind of bark we built up. Oh man, that is beautiful. That's what you want your brisket to look like. All right, so this is for a catering for an event, and we'll give it some time to come down before we cut into it. All right, guys, so we just did a 20-hour cook on this brisket, and it's all right. Let's see how it came out. Got some good burnt ends. Oh, it's too hot.
So here we have it, guys, the 20-hour smoked brisket. We rubbed it with mustard, seasoned it with our beautiful Chef's Backyard flavor formula seasoning, smoked it on mesquite, and served it to our family. Enjoy. Thanks for visiting us here at the Chef's Backyard. We'll see you soon.